Sri Krishna Parabrahmane Namaha. Sri Sadguru Paramatmane Namaha. Sarva Maharshibhyo Namaha. The painful nature of sense pleasures is explained. 22nd Shloka. Ye hi samsparshaja bhoga dukkayonaya evate adyantavantaha kaunteya na teshu rabate buddha. Substance. Those enjoyments born of external contacts are themselves indeed the source of pain only. They have a beginning and end. The wise do not rejoice in them. Commentary. The pleasure derived from sense objects are not real and enduring. They appear to give pleasure superficially, but they contain in themselves the seeds and germs of pain and sorrow. Therefore, the Lord describes them as Dukkayonayaha, the source of pain and sorrow. The elders say that the pleasure derived from the outside is only a drop, and from it arises suffering as huge as a mountain. Since these pleasures are short lived and worthless, the wise have no relish for them. The source of pain and sorrow is sense pleasures contain in their womb the seeds of sorrow and suffering. He who indulges in them should also suffer pain and sorrow arising from them. Man's life is a bundle of pleasures and pains coming and going in an endless chain. These same pleasures have been many times in the previous births and they will recur many times in the future also. When X-rays are focused over the body, they penetrate the outer covering and photograph the inner contents of the body. So also, the purified intellect of the spiritual seeker is able to discover the unseen germs of pain and suffering in the womb of sense pleasures. So he shuns them like poison. They do not rejoice in them. Nateshu ramate buddha. The ignorant man is attracted by the glitter and glamour of the sense pleasures and fall into the pit of suffering. He is caught like the foolish fish that bites the flesh without seeing the hook behind. From this verse, we understand two evils arising from the material pleasures. First, they contain an immense the seeds of sorrow and suffering. Second, they are short lived, unlike that joy which is found in Atma by the man of knowledge. The Atmic joy has not the least taint of sorrow or pain in it. It is eternal. If sense pleasure is like a lamp, the joy of Atma is like the sun. The lamp is blown out at any time, but the sun shines forever. If the sense pleasures are like a pool, the joy of Atma is like an ocean. The pool is dried up, but not the ocean. Knowing this, the wise do not go in for material pleasures. Such one is the knowing man, Buddha. It is within the experience of every thoughtful man that the sense pleasures corrupt the body and mind and lead to suffering and misery. The pleasures of drink, the ecstasies of the lust, the adventures of gambling, the greed of accumulated wealth, the fear and glamour of position have been the cause of ill health, loss of vitality, bankruptcy, suicidal jealousies and hatred, and all the restless passions of worldly people. Materialism, the clinging to the body as the be all and end all of life, has destroyed mankind and deprived it of their legitimate claim to pure joy, Ananda, which is man's birthright. The denial of spiritual values on all sides and the consequent strife in the heart of man have rendered life for millions of people a prolonged fitful fever. Question. What is the nature of sense pleasures? Answer. They are the source of sorrow and suffering. They are short lived. Question. So, what will the wise man do? Answer. He rejects the sense pleasures and seeks for the joy of the spirit. The Lord points the way to happiness in this world. 23rd Shloka. Shaknoti haiva yas sodhum fracharira vimokshanat kama krododbhavam vegam sayuktaha sa sukhi naraha. Substance. He who is able to endure the impulse of desire and anger even in this world before the fall of the body is the harmonized and he is the happy man. Commentary. One major tenet of Gita, which is repeatedly affirmed by the Lord, is that the peace and happiness of spiritual life is to be attained here and now, even in this life, while living in the embodied state. The Gita, as it has been pointed out in the introduction, teaches a way of life which can be practiced with advantage by the individual and by the society. What is the way to secure peace and happiness? How can man enjoy undisturbed and unbroken bliss? This question confronts everyone. Consciously or unconsciously, man is seeking for happiness every moment of his life. The Lord states the position with absolute clarity and perspicuity. The key to happiness is placed in one's own hands. The mansion of peace is open to all, but one should understand what peace is and how it could be found. This world and the human organism is best fitted to attain peace and truth. This is the grandest opportunity for spiritual sadhana. The other worlds are only places where the effects of action done are experienced. No sadhana is possible there. This world is karma bhumi. So, whatever progress could be claimed by individual effort should be effected here only. Before the fall of the body means the idea here only, ihaiva is elaborated by this explanatory phrase. It means before the body falls, that is before death. The Lord exhorts mankind to conquer lust, kama, and anger, krodha, before the body falls, while living and discharging the duties and responsibilities of life. One should overcome these fatal enemies. It is foolish to postpone the issue to a future birth. Who knows what birth one is going to have, whether that of a man or a beast? So, this wonderful opportunity should not be lost. That which perishes is called the body. Siryate iti shariram. The tenure of life is uncertain. No one can say when he shall be called off from the stage of earthly life. Even one lives up to ripe old age, and one that will be of not much use. When the physical and mental powers are declined, what spiritual effort can make? Sadhana will become impossible in old age. So, when people are young, when the mind's power is at its height, when the body is capable of enduring the rigors of discipline, when weakness does not set in, when the clouds of cares and anxieties do not overcast the mind, when defeatism and frustration have not knocked out the foundation of human personality, when man is young, strong, hopeful, and idealistic, sadhana should be done. If one fails to do so, great difficulties would overtake him. Among the six enemies, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, the first two only are mentioned here. The rest are included in them. They are powerful enemies. The seeker should watch their movements with constant vigilance. Impulse. The impulse of kama and krodha should be resisted. These impulses are roused suddenly and are highly irresistible. So the impulse should not be allowed to rise in the mind. Their seeds remain dormant in the mind and they should not be afforded any occasion to sprout and spread out and disturb the mind. These impure impulses should not come up to the surface and thus the mind remains quiet and peaceful. When Atma is directly pursued, the seeds also get burnt up and the man is perfectly free. The result of such self control is happiness and absorption in the self. There is no happiness whatever even if man possesses other acquisitions, talents, and powers. Is able means by devotion and dispassion man can conquer these enemies. We understand three important ideas from this verse. First, before the fall of the body, one should conquer these enemies. Second, the most important aspect of sadhana is the conquest of kama and krodha. Third, only after the conquest of these enemies can a man attain complete happiness.